everybody. Welcome to the show. We're live on a Friday. We're pouring drinks. We're having fun. This is ForceCenter Live. I'm Ken Knapsack.
I'm Joseph Scrimshaw, and it felt like Ken said we're live on a Friday, which also seems like a reason to celebrate. Not only live on the internet, but still alive and active.
Yes. And I'm Jennifer Landa. I was going to say it's Saturday nights for fighting, right? Not Friday night. Okay.
Saturday. Yeah.
Friday night is we're talking about Star Wars on the internet.
That's right.
As always, we're here. We usually once a month to hang out with you all. Who knows? We might do more if you like hanging out. We're going to take your Bad Batch questions, any questions, life, pop culture, all those things, Star Wars, any in Star Wars. But Bad Batch just debuted this week, 3 episodes for the final season. We had a lot of fun. Check out the review. We had a lot of fun. Over 2 hours of diving in to those wonderful 3 episodes, but we're having fun here. Checking in, though, too. Joseph, I know you've been busy this week. I want to know what you're drinking and how you're feeling.
In that order, I'm drinking a large whiskey and ginger beer, Jack Daniels in particular, Sinatra's favorite drink, Jack Daniels, with some ginger beer. It's great. It will keep me awake. I am a little groggy. I did a film shoot last night, which is really great. I was really happy to do it. There's so much when you're trying to work on short film stuff. There's so much, like everything else in life, budget and planning and promoting and like, am I ever going to pick up a camera and point it at humans again and make a story? Which I got to do last night, and it was just great fun. I shot it on my phone, so I was able to be like really fluid and move myself and use all of those sort of visual art experiences that I've had. It was just a ton of fun. The actors were great, so I'm really excited and happy, and really tired, and I will probably forget my own name.
Hey, you had a great shoot. I know, because I kind of watched it or heard.
Yes, yes. And once again, helped me with this shoot, and it was very much appreciated.
There you go, Jed. You're with us here for about an hour or so. Unless those kids learn to drive themselves back from school.
Oh my God. I know I was like, oh, you're going to have to learn how to drive a car. They may not, right? With self-driving cars, who knows what the future holds?
Wow. I've
right?
never thought about that.
Yeah. I'm like, you'll learn. No, you may not. So anyways,
Wow.
I'm the chauffeur as of yet. I had wanted to get a rose latte for myself. I did not have time. So this is it right here. My air cup.
Okay. I'm trying something new for the first time. This is an experiment. I've been drinking this the last couple of days. It is Bacardi, not a sponsor. Dragonberry. It's Dragonberry flavored rum. And then I had it on my Wednesday night live show on my own channel. And someone says, you got to mix that with Sprite. So I'm going to do that right here, right now for the first time.
Ken, I got distracted by a question. What was your booze?
It's Bacardi Dragonberry flavored rum.
Oh, that's a common berry we all talk about all the time. Dragonberry?
Dragonberry. And I've already sipped it without a mixer. Normally, rum and Coke, rum and diet for me. But I'm going to do a Dragonberry and Sprite. That's what we're going to do.
Dragonberry and Sprite. Those definitely sound like mutants from the 90s that were introduced to the X-Men. Sprite was an actual.
Lost Pokemon card. Wow. That's really good.
It's good.
That's unfortunately good. Like, when you take some alcohol and you're like, that goes down too easily. Oh my gosh.
I used to infuse dried mangoes into rum. It was like a mango rum. It was so delicious. You could just have that straight, but I bet that one with a Sprite is a nice like crispness.
Yeah, there's some crispness going on here.
What is the Dragonberry flavor? Is it like a berry but fire?
It's got a strawberry. There's strawberries on the cover here. I just noticed that. So it's like a little dragon fruit and strawberry mix. So it's got a little sweetness to it, and then the Sprite brings it out. I'm already getting hot and itchy with the alcohol racing through me. Here we go.
Well, we are not alone. Alex Cameron Smith says it's Saturday morning, so I've got water and paracetamol.
Okay. That's the way to do it. Brian Ward's here. Shout out to our friends. Hey, Mr. Ward's here. Molly Damon's here. I have to try that Dragonberry rub. Love that there. Oh, yeah, lime deep Eddies and Sprite Zero. We're sharing drink mixer ideas here.
Yes. And we already have several questions and a couple of kind super chats. As always, the super chats help us out a ton. we are working hard to kind of make sure that we keep our numbers up and growing so we can keep doing ForceCenter in the super chats. Really, really help with that. Help us do more things like Jedi Beat and all that stuff. So they are not required, but they are deeply appreciated as we go through our questions.
Absolutely, absolutely. And hey, if you're on the YouTube channel for the first time, when the episode is done here, when we're done live, check out some of the recent episodes. We got Sit or Stand at a Concert. That was today's episode of Subjective Wars with Molly and Alex. The Bad Batch breakdown. But Jennifer, we got to start. I got a question for you. How does it feel to have the first Jedi Beat video version out and about? Very well received. It's on our channel here. How do you feel? How are you feeling?
Good. I'm so happy. Everyone's been so kind and taking the time to check it out, which in this day and age, that is a lot. So thank you all for taking the time to watch it, working on the next one. And I had a third one that I was thinking of. I'm switching it out to something different.
Oh.
So yeah.
Wow. Okay.
I'm going where the Force spirit guides me.
Yeah, I can't wait to hear about that. Everybody's getting to listen to our business meeting now. I can't wait to hear. No, I don't care. And that's what this is about. I love it.
There you go. Griff says it. Hey, Jennifer, just want to say I loved the Jedi Beat episode. Can't wait for the next one. There you go.
Thank you.
Love it.
Thanks.
Love it. All right. Yeah, Joseph, you're right. A lot of questions already coming in here. Molly Demon says Jedi Beat episode was solid. I thought she said solid gold, like I was going to slip into a oldies radio vibe. But there you go. Yeah. Anything pop out, sir, that you think? There's a lot of great questions.
There's a lot, not surprising, which is exactly what we wanted. We got this fresh new Star Wars storytelling talk about lots of questions and what ifs about Bad Batch in particular. Scanning through here from this one is a very kind super chat from our friend Brennan Mystical Mar. Thank you so much, Brennan. Brennan says, are the members of the Batch going to ultimately sabotage the Emperor's plans, which is why his clone body is falling apart in the Rise of Skywalker? Listeners may have heard us banging on about this. That's a desire. I hope so. I want the clones to have a win, not just the Batch. I want the Batch to have a win, have a little family reunion, and get to kind of retire somewhere a little bit like they want. But I really want a win for the clones as a whole. I was talking about this on our review of the first 3 episodes of the Bad Batch. I feel like the Bad Batch has so successfully been about our core characters, but also this story of, hey, remember how the Clone Wars animated series introduced us to the clones as characters, as beings with agency and purpose, and the Bad Batch animated show has so much to me been about their realization that, oh, we were created for a purpose and that means something to us, but we're also lied to. So I feel like them having a win and setting Palpatine back, if it's Project Necromancer and Palpatine trying to clone himself, great. If it's another horrible thing that Mount Tantus is doing, for me, I kind of don't care what the big Palpatine plan is that they foil. I just want them to just put 2 lovely clone middle fingers in Palpatine's face and reclaim their agency and have a win as the clones as a whole.
Jen, I want your thoughts here first before mine, but Joseph, you pitched a wonderful final shot of a helicopter flying away and the Bad Batch just flipping off Palpatine as he's moved away in a shot.
There's stones laid out that say "F you, Sheev," instead of goodbye.
That's a lot of it. A win. Jen, where you go with that?
I like it. It makes the most sense because timeline wise, otherwise it doesn't make a lot of sense, right? And it gives our heroes a chance to have a win, like you're saying. And I like it if it's not so connected to what's happening later on in the timeline. Like I think just showing maybe is a little bit of it is I'm fine with. I don't think that I need it to be totally a string from point A to point B to point C, right? I just feel like I don't know. That it's just too much for me.
Yeah, I mean, obviously there's like a ton of excitement in curiosity we can see about Project Necromancer. And like we were talking about, like I'm really interested in Project Necromancer by itself, for it's weird and it's creepy and it's magical, but I don't want it to overshadow the clone story. And so that's why I keep answering this question is, hey, if it's Project Necromancer they set back, great. If it's another project, what's most important to me is that they have a win.
I think we're all three are in the same spot, and it wasn't just because I think one of your theories going in just was one of my favorite things to explore about. Maybe it's more to do with the inhibitor chip, and maybe it's more about the reason the clones kind of were put into place in the first spot. I think there's a lot of things I love about that, and we always tell ourselves, and you out the audience, we try to practice what we preach about speculating responsibly and letting go of anything, and we're still very early in the game, and I think we don't know, that could be another project. Would they destroy the chips and necromancers in the and necromanager, who's a day shift guy? I think I pick it up on what you two have maybe that's connected with me, where I'm like, I don't want it all. I don't necessarily need it all to be connected and to Nine and Moff Gideon and all that stuff. I just like where we're at, where we're playing, and I want the conversation to be about Bad Batch versus. Is it Palpatine and this and that? But there's some wonderful questions to come out that, to be clear. So I think that's where my heart is.
Yeah, that stuff is all fun, but I want it to be more about the clones. I also think that it would be great if the plan was Necromanager, and Palpatine is trying to use dead bodies to do sort of middle management labor for the Empire. Would be great.
Yep. I'm with you.
Yeah, the thing about like the inhibitor chip, which is what I speculated on, and I might very well be just nope on that. Is sure. I like the idea of them foiling a plan that has to do with weaponizing the inhibitor chip, because then they could rescue the rest of the galaxy from what was done to them, having their agency taken away. Yeah, and if I were lucky enough to be in the writing room, I would have pitched that hard. And but as a viewer, I just want to sit back and watch whatever story they tell, because I trust that it will be meaningful and powerful.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think it's so early in the game. And look, again, I want to be clear. When they said Necromancer, Project Necromancer, I was excited. It's fun, and we'll see where all that goes, because we've got some questions about it today, and I do want to have those discussions and thoughts and theories. I'm having a lot of fun discussing the Bad Batch, themselves as characters.
Yeah, absolutely. Ken, do you want to grab the next question?
Yeah, absolutely. You know what? I want to get right to this one. It's kind of it's an inside joke of a question, but our buddy Ken Bloom, check out his stuff over on Force 5 and his open chat channel. Just subscribe to Ken Bloom. You'll get it all. So Ken, about that conversation we were having about why Palpatine wouldn't just get M count blood from Vader or capture Jedi. This I've seen this a lot on social media. Of if Palpatine's looking for the perfect vessel, or they need find blood that can carry all the keep the med count, and why not go to Vader? He says capture Jedi's. Well, I think it's kind of the same. Well, no, I think it's a different question. Starting with the Vader, the Anakin Skywalker of it all. Have you both been seeing that online a lot too?
No.
Yeah,
it's interesting. It's a good question.
I think. I'm sorry, Ken. Are you?
No, it's a great question. Number one, I think it's still early in the game. We don't know that he didn't, but I think there's reasons why he wouldn't, even at all.
Yeah, I think that there's the. I think Alex Damon was talking about this on his wonderful reaction to the first 3 episodes as well. But the way I took it, and again, I could be deeply wrong. I'm tired and I'm drinking whiskey, but I feel like what he's doing is. I think those little drops of blood are Palpatine's blood, and I think he's trying to find is there a clone that can absorb my blood? So having Vader's blood is useless to him, because what he wants is a clone that can adapt to his blood and successfly, because he knows he could, So I don't. It's not about I'm thinking about it this way. There's the word substrate that I learned in visual art, which means like whatever the thing that you were painting on. So it could be a canvas or a wall, and then you're putting your paint on it. And so the way I'm thinking of it is like Palpatine is like, I am the paint, and the substrate I want that I will put myself on is I need to know that I can clone myself. So he needs a clone is the substrate for his painting of immortality.
Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, and James, follow-up thoughts here, please. If you have them, post them. James saying, hey, do we know the specimens used for the MCAT transfer aren't from Vader Capture Jedi? No, we don't. That's why I say it's early in the game. It also could be, I'm with you, Joseph. I thought that blood that they're trying to mix might have been Palpatine's, but, maybe that's the end goal. Maybe right now, I keep going to the Grogu thing. I don't expect Grogu to show up, but maybe connecting it to Mandalorian, like, can we transfer Quinlan Voss's blood to a clone. That's the test. Cool, that worked. Great. Next up, now we're gonna do Palpatine. Because he's just too busy. He needs a necromanager anyways to get his work done. But as far as seeing it of just why not use Vader for whatever part of it, the other thing is too is they don't really like each other. Palpatine and Vader aren't pals. And they're Sith. And if I think, first of all, Vader, Anakin is damaged goods. George has even talked about that. One of the little, if you want to call it a minor victory of Kenobi, is he damaged Palpatine's prize, package there at the end of Revenge of the Sith. He's got damaged goods, so he's not as strong. More machine now than the man. I see Will McLean in chat say that. And two, again, look at what they're doing. And look at the Marvel comic lines, which I think sometimes the beats get repetitive, but Palpatine's just torturing Vader the entire time that they're together. And you suck. You're no good. I'm going to test you. Should I get another apprentice? I'm kind of looking for one anyways. And then we see what goes on with Vader and Anakin and even just going to some of the stuff in Empire Strikes Back. And, Jedi holding back a card on, I got a son and he's here. There's no point in me where I think Palpatine would tell Vader, hey, could you help me clone myself so I can live forever? And then that stays alive with the rule of two.
I mean, I think the rule of two is like an annoying thing he has to live with. It worked for him to take over the galaxy, but I love the Rise of Skywalker. It's not subtle the amount of times the heroes say that there are a lot of them, or that we need both blades, or we need both heroes, and then Palpatine's finally like the one true emperor. He wants it to be rule of one as soon as humanly possible.
I do like that thing too of Palpatine's finally like, all right, now we're ready to go public. Well, who made you get to make the call? You get to make the call?
Popping this up here from 8984M. Honestly, think Project Necromancer at this stage is a prototype and very different from what it becomes, just like the Death Star project in Revenge of the Sith. I think that's such a great thing to keep in mind when we're having fun speculating about where is Project Necromancer at by the time they're talking about it right after the Galactic Civil War in the Mandalorian era, when Captain Paleon's talking about it, when Moff Gideon is twisting some version of it to his purposes, when Pershing's repurposing it to what is it by the time of Rise of Skywalker. A lot of times I think we as fans can easily get hot and bothered and want to kind of connect one thing from decades over here to decades over here without realizing that it's going to go up and down and sideways in between.
Yeah, absolutely. Jen, your reaction now that you're aware of this theory, thoughts even more about the relationship between Sheev and Anakin? Is it good? Is it healthy? Is it all right?
No, it's a toxic relationship, and he's just a true narcissist. It's such a great point. How it would admit, I don't want to say weakness or defeat, but I just think he's too narcissistic to want to rely on a Jedi or Vader or anything like that. He wants a fresh vessel.
Yeah. I love that. And good comments coming in here, as you guys always do. Plume following up his own question. Palpatine wouldn't trust Vader or Jedi knowing his full plan. It goes back to his use of pawns, not partners. Yeah. Rule of one. Yeah. It's catchy, right? It's catchy.
There's so much to talk about in those episodes. We didn't get to some of just the great little details. I love how much he is managing Hemlock. We know Palpatine so well in the way he's like, your skill is so valuable to the Empire. And you want a promotion? You want to be in charge of the entire science of the Empire? Well, wait and see. He's just using his classic mean daddy things of yes, good enough. Come here. No, bad, disappointed, mean daddy. No, come here.
So true. He's like Lord Michael's making you wait 4 hours for an interview. I've got the power. You wanted to be here? Not ready. It's not time. No. Yeah, I call it time. Yeah, so true. So true. It's you're making me think of, we're making jokes about necromanagers and mid-managers, but this is why I love Orson Krennic's story so much.
Oh yeah.
He just wants to sit 3 rows in front. He wants to do good at his evil job.
Yes.
So well written in Catalyst of really why are those people sitting closer in the auditorium than I am?
That's so true. Oh, great stuff. Good stuff. We're off and running with the big ones here. Jen, anything jumping out to you there?
I like this one's fun. Serenity Jane says to commemorate my new Rebels tattoo, a Loth Wolf running below a watercolor version of the Phoenix symbol posted in the Discord. If you were to get a tattoo of something Star Wars, what would it be? That's good.
Well,
Wait, do either of you have tattoos? Star Wars tattoos?
I don't have tattoos yet, but I am getting one this year, no matter what. I have.
This is breaking news.
Yeah.
Break. Da-da-da-da-da-da. I was trying to do the news, and I did the Muppets theme song. Da-da-da-da-da.
It's time to get a tattoo.
Cut into my flesh with a laser. Yeah, I've wanted to for years and years, and I keep trying to have one to sort of commemorate a big year birthday wise, and I got one coming up, so I'm doing it this year.
Wow.
For Star Wars, I think if I got a Star Wars tattoo, which I almost did, just go, hey, do I have enough time in London? I'm gonna go over to one of them tattoo booths that they have at Star Wars Celebration. I would get the Jedi symbol. I love it aesthetically, and for me, it's it's a symbol of a story that I love and everything that I associate with the actual story and with ForceCenter and this community and all that. But it's also like if Disney was like, we're pulling the plug, we're not doing any more Star Wars, that symbol would still have meaning for me for the ideal of it and I go on about the justice for the Jedi, but I think the thing for me is like all of their ideas I agree with. They are the heroes to me, and it's a hard path to walk to just always try to be the best version of yourself, and just having a little reminder of like, you're gonna stumble, you're gonna fall, you're gonna have to be upset with yourself on an island every once in a while, but you are trying to be the best version of yourself. That's what it means to me, the symbol.
Well thought of.
Ken?
I have 0 tattoos, no plans for any tattoos, and I hear about it from Grace every day about how uncool I am with that decision. So I'll work on that. I don't know. It's a thing of my life. I just don't hold on to anything that dear that I wanted on my skin permanently. But I don't know,
I mean, you're liking this dragonberry drink so far.
Maybe it's a dragonberry drink, just a rum.
Dragonberry drink.
Yeah.
I like it, the little bottle.
I was going to get something that
dragonberry on one side, Sprite on the other.
And then I do this, and combine. I'd have to, it would be a symbol. It would be words, never tell me the odds. But then again, I'm not much of a gambler, so that doesn't even work. Like, never tell me the odds. I'm at video blackjack. Never tell me the odds. I'm losing. So I don't know. Chad, do you have tattoos? We always learn things about you. You probably have a half sleeve I'm not aware of,
No, I do have tattoos, and I've removed 2 of them. Yeah, I removed them because they were terrible. So I understand, Ken. It's a big decision, and you quickly learn that after 10 years, you're like, why? This is not me anymore. Why do I have the Barbaloot bear on my ankle? So now I do want a Star Wars tattoo, and I've been hemming and hawing over what it's going to be. For whatever reason, my brain initially went to the Death Star. This was just like, why? It's like the most intricate design work for a tattoo that could go really wrong because all those lines and stuff. So I don't know. I got to think of something Ewok, but not an Ewok.
Yeah, you don't want like a Van Mural designed Ewok, on your forearm or something. I don't know. That seems a little weird.
It's got to be kind of abstract.
Yeah, shout out to those that do have Van Mural like Ewoks on their bodies at some point. I'm okay.
Like a real, a real 70s Van Mural of like Luke. When Luke and Leia are depicted much more like they're on the cover of an old fantasy book with like ripped bodice kind of energy all across your back.
I want to know the person who in like 77 got a Luke and Leia romantic tattoo and was like 1980 was like, oh no. Oopsie.
Yeah. Right. Everybody's sitting in the theater going, well, Deb's going to change that tattoo.
Yeah, that's the problem with the tattoo. It's like I want to skip the Winona Ryder and go straight to Wino Forever. Like what's the thing that's going to be there? Is what I want.
Or if you have like a bunch, then each one doesn't matter as much, right? It's like more fun. It's a collection. Collecting the tattoos.
Brian says I would get the Dex's Diner sign as a tattoo.
Not wrong.
I like that.
Not wrong at
Yeah.
all.
It's pretty
Yeah.
fun, actually.
That's a great question.
It's a
Good stuff.
Yeah.
And
Sounds
Serenity
like a-
Jade. I was looking Serenity Jade. I was trying to look in the Discord where you posted. I was could maybe show up on screen here, but I'm still checking. So let me know where you posted it. Anyway, so-
Yeah. Is there a whole tattoo channel going in the Discord, Ken?
No, maybe we need one. I think I found it here.
Yeah, give me some ideas because I want to do it.
I think that is it.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Oh,
That's
see, like that.
Right.
That's
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's more
see.
artistic rather than just,
Yeah.
I like
Good
that.
stuff. Found it. Good job.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And Molly says, I feel like my right arm will eventually be a collection of small Star Wars tattoos.
Yes.
Oh,
Do it.
That's
Yeah.
great.
Yep.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Do it.
Yeah.
Got it. Good stuff. We're off and running here. This is great. Ton of questions to choose from. Look at this.
Yeah, no, a lot of very kind super chats. So we'll try to grab some of those that came in. This came to us here from JC. Thank you very much. Jedi beat, more like Jedi sweet. Am I right? Yes, you are correct, JC. Is
So
sweet.
kind.
What other wild, crazy projects do you think Sheev has locked up at
yeah.
Mount Tantus? Speculate irresponsibly. Cheers. Appreciate you three as always. Appreciate you, JC. Thank you very much
Thank you.
for the kind donation. And I'm going to take it down because it's blocking too much of Jennifer.
Yeah.
Okay.
Jennifer, do you have theories about what other research projects might be going on at Mount Tantus? We had the dialogue there where Hemlox was basically like, we got room for bigger, weirder crap now.
Right. I mean, just to be silly, I could say like food projects. Like, what food projects do you have? What does she enjoy eating? Like, I just imagine they have everything his heart desires, right? Like, it's just the wildest and weirdest thing. Getting the textiles on his capes just right.
It'd be really funny. Sorry, Ken, go ahead.
No. Hit me.
I was just gonna say, it'd be really funny if there was like this little tender thing of like there's some like fruit that like died out on Naboo that he had as a kid,
Oh, yeah.
like some sort of Ratatouille thing of
story.
like, yeah. And if you ever tell anybody that I pine for this, the dragon berries that used to grow on Naboo, if you could make those, and then he eats them alone with like a hood on so nobody can see he has something he actually loves.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah. God, this is a great conversation. Thought starter on Palpatine. Does he have his secret rosebud version of food, right? The one sliver, not that we want to turn Sheev good, but that one sliver of humanity left. Or is he the guy that, because he goes to a lot of highfalutin parties and operas and he's got to put on some airs, right? But is a telltale sign that he just likes buttered pasta with no sauce and pepper or something? We're just like, did you say Sheev tonight?
I think that's more accurate. I think he like resents that he has to eat. Like maybe it's probably more like, could you just make olive food a pill?
Yeah.
that I just pop in the morning because I don't really.
Yeah, I used to have one boss I worked for. He's like, I don't have salad dressing. I was like, oh really? What do you use? Like, I squeeze a lemon and put salt and pepper on it, and not bad, but I was just like, what's wrong with you? And years later, I found out. So that would be.
That is really
Yeah.
salad.
Yeah, I hope that they're still Zillow beasting it up, and I kind of hope that something with that comes back, even if it's just sort of a one-off episode, or I can see it being a similar sort of story of the clones managed to turn the Zillow Beast on Tantus, kind of thing.
Ooh.
That would be great. That would be great, right? If they found some of the like the sonic weapons to kind of guide it, like they've done before. That I think that would be great. There was another one I was thinking of, but I don't remember now. Ken, do you have thoughts of what wild projects?
I definitely like a lot of. Never mind. It wouldn't be. I was thinking of some weapon stuff, but that's not what That's not what Tantus is about. That's other people's departments. I went to the Zillow Beast of like cloning, but does he have like mini Zillows where you can deploy a lot of them? Like tiny little ones, like 4 foot tall Zillow Beasts that could just go into battle, maybe 7 feet tall and you can ride them. Does he have an army of Zillow Beasts of any size? I went to that one as well, but There's like even seeing Haskell, Eddie in the chat here. So Death Troopers on Tantus fits the timeline, Mandalorian, right? All that kind of stuff. Could be. But for me, like, what if he's done with the clones? He wants to, but like, there's always this thing with like the Emperor's Royal Guards of this higher breed, but then you go to the Praetorian Guards and like they have armor that is hurting them actively and that kind of fuels them. Like, is there something where Palpatine needs like I need protection, I need warriors around me that aren't Vader and aren't Death Troopers and stuff, but just like like there's almost cyborgs. Like, are there clone it's maybe dark stuff, but like clones being experimented on and turned into something else, and which might go into some tech speculation, I know, but like whereas it's really just bad. Like, this is why people are considering it abominations, and even Palpatine's like, oh, I know there's some people upset at this stuff. Like that's the point, Hemlock.
Yeah, like I think like the like the weaponizing the local fauna, right? The flora.
The slither snakes. Yeah, the slither vines. Slither vines. Yeah.
And Ethan Truman says, "What do you think the Zilla Beast is being used for specifically?" I feel like there was a drop at some point implying that it was for armor, that the Zilla Beast skin would be like, "Ooh, it's resistant to almost all standard weapons." That would be quite nice if my dime a dozen poorly trained stormtroopers were just encased in something that you could not cut through, no matter what. I think an armor thing. I love the idea of just like. Maybe he wants to make millions of microscopic Zilla Beasts that can live in his mouth, and then he opens his mouth and like tiny Zilla Beasts just pour out.
That's why he just wants. That's just why he wants sauceless pasta. He doesn't want to mess up the Zillas.
And with just like the actual core of the Bad Batch is a jokingly said, defective but very effective. Of this idea of like, hey, this batch ended up not right, but basically with kind of interesting, hard to predict superpowers. So there's a world to me where Palpatine's like, just keep making them until you get weird ones with superpowers and see if we can replicate it. And almost like, on the playground or in the bar when you have those, like, what's the weirdest superpower? What's the dumbest superpower you can imagine? Like, your eyebrows turn on fire. Was that useful? Like, your blood you can breathe soup, like whatever. Like he's just trying to make every superpower possible and say like, is this anything?
Yeah,
right.
They call him the tormentor of soup plantation. Yeah, he's spitting out all the soup. That's that. There we go. This is and I'm sure there's a lot more. Maybe my mind is just not twisted enough to think of all the horrible things he could be doing there. But I do. What's one of my favorite moments? I do think. There's so much of it that's secret, and there's so much of that. There's a certain breed that's going to do this stuff for Palpatine, and that he partitions it out like it's like there's partitions up. I mean, of just like Krennic. I need those type to build my weapons of war. I need Gallius Rax to keep a secret that I go on like. And I love that there's all these different people that know things but don't know perhaps the other things.
Yeah, that was the other thing I wanted to mention again is I think since Mountain Tanta seems to be mostly about cloning, the inhibitor chip, even if it's just an episode or a nod, like that just seems like something he'd really want to be like, I don't quite understand the science of how you actually made the inhibitor chip, and getting people's minds to change about something with a snap of my fingers. Boy, I'd really like to do that to everybody about everything. Seems like something she would be real interested in.
Yeah. I love that there. Oh, Rock Breaker, which is a great wrestler name, not quite Braun Breaker. World Between World Portal Gate Development Team. Yeah, where does he work on that kind of stuff? Is that Tantus? There's another spot of, hey, we got clones over there, but I need to find a portal to this place called World Between Worlds where the gods are. Hemlock's like, Palpatine's losing it.
He's got them creepy Imperial dignitaries all up in the Jedi libraries,
Does Hemlock and Jadis just pass each other in the hallways and just like, I don't like him. I don't like that guy.
Too much purple.
Yeah. She should have been developing anti or de-aging skincare products.
Yeah.
Good one, Bride. Good one.
But they wouldn't be low tox, though. That's the problem. Full of chemicals and darkness.
Oh boy. Sorry about that, Jen. Yeah. Yeah. Anyways, I'll move on. Jen, anything jumping out to you?
Sorry, I've been like doing all this low tox kick where I'm like, oh my gosh, it's everywhere. It's everywhere. Okay, let's see. Something. I had. Oh, this is interesting. Aiden Fald says, hello there. Do you think Crosshair's tremors are more psychological or physical? Are Hemlock's experiments causing him physical issues, or is Crosshair struggling to process things, or both? That's a great question.
Aiden, that's a great question. I love ForceCenter listeners who go deeper on these things here.
I think both.
I was going to make a column A, column B joke, and I just didn't know if it was appropriate for Crosshair. Yeah.
Because I think the experiments being done on Crosshair are practical, but also retaliatory. Like it's specifically a punishment for him, from Hemlock's perspective, from causing him problems and going off the map. So I wonder if Hemlock, really wanted him to talk about finding Omega. So if it's like, well, we kind of got to look into your superpower anyway, which means really messing with your nerve endings in your dominant hand. And I know that's going to be the thing that's going to psychologically torture you as well. And it's a good place for me to look. What's different about those, about your, actual physical ability to fire a weapon that's different. So it's just targeted out of cruelty and practicality.
Yeah, I like Jen. Where do you go with it?
Yeah, no, that's exactly it. As well said. Yes. My answer.
I go both towards. I think there's definitely, as 8984M said, Jet, Crosshair's been through a lot.
Yes.
He has, and Ethan even says Crosshair is up there on the list of most tragic Star Wars characters for sure. I feel the guy, and I actually like that sentiment. I do, and I think they've done a great job. I just rewatched that Outpost episode right before season 3 started, and it's my favorite episode of Bad Batch so far, because it's not just a simple redemption story yet. It might end in a happy dance and everyone's on the same team, and I want that, but if that's possible for these Bad Batchers, but there's something so real about where Crosshair starts, and the good soldiers follow orders to where he is now. And so the psychological trauma is real. The intentional trauma and harm from Hemlock makes a lot of sense to me. But even if he's just reacting to what's going on and he's shutting down part of his personality subconsciously, and it's manifesting in a shaky arm, any way you slice it, it's really troubling, and it's sad. And his journey is a quick fall, right? Series starts and he's fallen, but to see it play out the way it has, and left alone on Camino, and disconnected, and that feeling of you didn't come back for me, like all this stuff's so real, and it's real trauma.
Yeah, it's a character that I really did not like. I did not want to like him, right? But boy, this past season, I feel so much empathy, and I feel bad for him because he has had such a tragic life.
Yeah, there was some when you had said this week, Joseph. One of my favorite things you pointed out was just the simple idea of like this Crosshair right now chooses to save Emery Carr's life when he had the chance here, and that's not something we've seen. Going back to it made me think of the very first moments. He's got Caleb Dune, Kanan Jarrus in his crosshairs. Crosshair's got him in his crosshairs. He's ready to take the life. He's ready. We don't question this. From that to that, they've done such a good job of playing that out in a way that I didn't expect.
Yeah, his journey has been really fun. From there were moments, Jennifer, in the first couple seasons where I was really furious with him, and I was really like, your brothers are giving you every chance and then some, and you just won't budge. Like it was too close to some real life experiences I've had. It was like, well, fine, sink on Camino then. And they were better than me. My heroes were better than me.
Yeah. No, too real. Good question. Good stuff. Good stuff. Okay, here we go. We got Annie. Hi, Annie. Saying, just watched the Star Wars Explained review of the premiere, and I like the idea of blood being tested for compatibility with Palpy's, but why did Nala say no? Mega's blood would yield a result. Fair
Mm.
question. Good question. A lot of folks, looking at Nala say, and what does it take? How did it take this long for you to make this kind of decision with Omega? We know what under pressure she was under, literally being threatened. A lot of stuff there. I like the character being there. But Jen, any thoughts on this idea? I don't know where I go.
Yeah, I don't know. These are such great questions that I really had not thought about, but it makes so much sense. How did she know?
You know what you need to pour yourself some Dragonberry and Sprite. You'll be answering questions all day.
Yeah, matcha tea or something.
Yeah, Una Fearless here says Omega is a Phase 1 clone coming directly from Django. She's unaltered. That's why she's so special. I do think there is details. There were details about that early on that I don't remember all the details of. So I take the input from Una. I feel like not that there's like a big revelation necessarily, but I do feel like there's something we don't quite know. I think somebody else I saw pointing out that that Omega is also really a part of the Bad Batch. So there was that revelation. So there is also, I think, a little bit of a possibility of a question of, does she have some specific gift that she's not aware of yet? I also just think it's possible that there is something more that we don't know. Una Fearless is saying it's all explained in season 1, and I agree that her sort of pureness in her relation to being a straight clone of Django, but I feel like there's something more that Nala Se knows about her, like that she is some kind of Rosetta Stone of all Kaminoan cloning technology, of sort of like anything is possible via this clone kind of thing.
Yeah. Yeah, and I always go to emotional connections and just the idea of even if she had a hunch, she's not taking chances, and they took your blood. That's not going to lead to good things. And I do like you, and I am connected, and you do mean a lot to me. And outside of the information of it all, that's why I like the character of Nala Se, even though she's in this in a tough spot, we'll say. She's in a tight spot, as George Clooney says in Oh Brother We're Out There. We're in a tight spot. So I liked her actions in this, even if they weren't perfect.
Yeah, and people are pointing out lots of different details, and it does just feel like there are lots of things, little strings that they have created to pull at with what's going on with Omega. So I don't feel like the story's done myself.
Yeah, I still think it's so early in the game this season, and perhaps early in Omega's story, even if you want to look at it that way. Yeah. Love that. Good stuff. Oh, Dachshund. I love we have a username of a Dachshund. I had 2 Dachshunds growing up. Emery didn't call Hemlock to tell him that she got a positive test. She only brought it up once it would save Omega's life. Coincidence, or was she considered not telling? Following up with that. Yeah. I have a lot of Emery redemption hopes. Not even redemption, just an arc. We're going to get it. We're going to get more information from her.
I mean, I think that Crosshair not blasting her and Omega having a different reaction to her of being like, come on, you're our sister. You could be part of this too. But also, like, she wasn't waiting around. She wasn't pulling Crosshair's sleeve and going, we can't leave without Emery. It was a little bit of I think, Omega evolving and starting like, keeping my eye on you, Emery, to give you a chance, but being a little cautious about you. So yeah, a lot set up.
Yeah. As we'll find out.
Yeah, I almost think Emery would have, if that positive match hadn't happened, Emery still would have come running into that room trying to spin some reason that Omega is too valuable to be shot down.
Yes.
Yeah.
For me, that just seemed like her need to keep Omega alive as a sister preempted whatever else, and this was a good way to do it.
It was an excuse.
Indeed. Good stuff. More questions are on the way. If you're just joining us, as some people are, we are answering your questions about the Bad Batch, Star Wars, or life, or anything you want to kind of throw at us. Super chats are always welcome. Helps us find the questions easier, but not needed to join the conversation. Jen, you're here for about 20 minutes more, right? So
Yeah.
10, 15. All right. How about you want to choose another one?
Sure.
The people want to hear you chat.
Oh, no. This is from Molly. Molly, thank you so much. Do you want to see Sid redeem herself, or is there room for Omega to have the life experience of knowing some people might not change for the better? Ooh.
Mm,
Ooh, that's a life lesson. Right?
I'm laughing
Oh,
because I know if he's still in chat, it's late over in the UK. Matty Gunnar, I was watching him and PLD on Holy Snokes. Matty wants Sid dead.
really?
He's upset. I think it comes from a
Yeah.
place of passion, of we trusted you. We trusted you, Sid.
Yeah. Yeah, that was
Yeah,
pretty
Space.
devastating, that turn.
Space Carla kicked them when they were down. That was pretty nasty. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh.
I still like Sid. I think there's a learning lesson in it for her. That's a Molly. That's a them's the breaks kids question.
Maddie says, "I was upset it wasn't Sid that Batch brought to Isa Duran."
He was all of his mourner heavy metal rage was going into but I think there's could Omega have a them's the breaks kid lesson with Sid possibly, but I think this is the story of this time and what you do with these circumstances that maybe are put on you. Where did you come? Who you want to be during this time is so big in any Star Wars story. But with the Empire, the Republic becoming the Empire, Sid's got to face that. And I think you've seen the warmth, you've seen the connection. I do think it's there. But she's got to be the one, right? This is like that Star Wars thing we talk about. Like Ben Solo doesn't think he can go back to his mom. Like those kind of Crosshair probably thinks I'm not worthy. We talked about it this week. I'm not worthy. Leave me. I'm a lost cause. And maybe Sid has and should. And I think Sid should have a lot of shame for what she did.
Oh, I mean, she does. I mean, part of what hit so hard is she knows that she did something real. She's trying to justify it, but she's like, "Oh, I like goggles." I think that I would like to see Sid help them out of a jam because I think she does feel bad. And I think they also did a lot of great storytelling buildup of they kept doing things for her. And I think Tech at one point like enumerates it, right? Of like, these are the 7 ways we've helped you. Perhaps she will not betray us. So it would be an interesting kind of worldview for like, Sid to come screaming in at some vital moment and save them, and Omega be hopeful of like, oh, Sid's part of the family now, and Sid just be like, no, I'm still out for number 1. It's just a debt was owed, and I paid it, and now we're even, and I'd sell you again, so stay away from me, kid. Kind of a balance.
Yeah. Okay.
That feels more real too, less pat or like it's all okay. She betrayed you guys. Don't worry about it. She's saying she's sorry, right?
Yeah.
That just feels better for me. What you just described.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. That could be. I'm happy with that.
Yeah.
I'm imagining Omega ending up with like, my family's around me. Sid, Emery, Crosshair, all adults who betrayed me in the past.
Catch
horrible.
and Bolo. Yeah. But I'll say this overall, I am someone who's still positive on Sid as a character, as Rhea Perlman in Star Wars. I'm positive on Sid, and I'm gonna hold out hope for Sid.
Yeah.
Yep.
Just for Rhea Perlman.
Yeah, love her story. And as many people pointing out, we are relating to her from Carla, and many people now are relating to her as the creator of Barbie is in Star Wars.
The creator of Barbie was in a sitcom in the 80s?
Wow.
Yeah. Good stuff here. Where are we going?
I got one here. We want to get some. Make sure we get some Jen compliments in here while she's still there. The Jedi beat wait was worth it. It says 8984M. The research that went into it is so good. For my question, how would you react if you met a cloned younger version of yourself? Would you see them as you or someone else? Jen?
If you met a cloned younger version of yourself, that'd be terrifying. But there would be lessons that I could learn from the younger clone that I feel like I'm relearning now as an adult because there was a lot of optimism, hopefulness before I got into the entertainment industry. Right,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Being more in tune with nature, with grounding myself, with my physical, like being more in my body, doing more dance, stuff like all these things, right? Which when you're a kid and a younger version of yourself, you have that time. And then as you get older, you have so many other things that get in the way of that, where you don't prioritize the quote unquote self-care or the mental health. And so I think that I could learn a lot of things from that younger clone. But then I also think I could share some words of wisdom, like don't become an actor, or do it on the side for fun as theater, but don't make it a career choice, kid. Stick to something else.
The advice thing is amazing. I think that's where my mind goes to all of it. But I'm curious for you, Jen, being an entertainer. When I talk to people who haven't done any sort of podcasts or ever been on film or that, they're like, I don't think they mean it as directly as it sounds like. How do you look at and listen to yourself? How do you stand it? Because there are people who do not want to listen to their own voice, see themselves. Are you so used to seeing and hearing yourself that do you think it would help you from being weirded out by seeing and hearing yourself? Or do you think you'd be
100%.
freaked out by that?
No. I've grown so much as a performer, as so many things, podcaster, by listening to myself, because you have to be objective. When you're listening to yourself after hours of editing it, you really start to say, oh, I see a lot of likes, or I say a lot of ums, or I can hear the tension in my voice, or I can see my discomfort and that I was having a bad day in that audition that I just sent over to the casting director, right? Like all those things, you learn so much. That's why some actors will actually watch the playback of themselves, when they're filming something. I know a lot of actors don't, right? Some actors don't even see themselves after the finished product. So it just depends on how much control. I like having control, so it helps me adjust, right? Because I'm like, oh, that didn't work, that didn't read, or oh, I like that. Let's go further in that direction and push it even more, especially with comedy.
Yeah, and on screen, the performance can look so different than it feels, in your core.
Right.
So yeah, I just think, I think if anybody's afraid that there was going to start being a lot of clones, I would say start a YouTube channel and get used to editing yourself. Is good advice from Jennifer Landa for our clone future.
Yes. Yeah.
Would I treat them differently, or they'd have a little more hope. Actually, depending on the part of my life that I find myself as a clone, like it might be a little less hope. Actually, there's been some great strides in that area of my life. I don't know. This is a weird self. I'd be freaked out. Number one, right? It's bad enough. I don't watch myself when people are like, hey, do you remember that funny thing you said on the Schmodown? I don't. I've never seen an episode of Schmodown. Like, I don't go back and watch things unless we have to for like this stuff or editing or putting together reel. But I think I'd just be freaked out. Because, I'd be like, is that how the hair looks like from the back of me? Is that what I really look like? Like, I hate pictures of myself that, is the beard really that gray? Oh, man.
Yeah. But a younger version of yourself, the beard might not be gray. Would you be jealous of younger you?
Facebook memories are the worst.
Oh, yeah.
I see a picture from like Jennifer Landa stopped by Jedi Council. It's 2017. I'm like, who's that young guy over there? Oh, that's me. And I got a pretty good skin routine. I got smooth skin. People always, I got good skin, but it doesn't look like it did 5 years ago.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I would react to younger me not at all as the same as me, but like total road not taken kind of thing of wanting to know what clone me wants to do and giving them advice and seeing if they take it. Probably not. But yeah, definitely having that thing of like every time I feel older, and then some years pass, and then I look at a photo of myself when I felt older, and I have this like great shame of like, I don't even know what I was going to do with being younger, but I was moping around feeling like I was older, and now I'm like, that I would, so I think that would be my main relationship of being like, younger clone of me, I'm really jealous of the shape of your face. Do something with it,
Yeah. That's a very real feeling of like, there's moments when I'm like 25 going, I'm just horrible and ugly and no one loves me. I want to like grab that kid by the collars and be like, you got to get out there, man. Do it.
Right.
Do
it.
Do it.
There's that Carrie Fisher interview where she's being asked if it's hard to look at herself, and she's being shown a picture of herself when she's like 25, and she's like, "No, I'm 25. I'm gorgeous. What are you talking about?"
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, right.
Love that. Good stuff there. Good stuff. Jen, how you doing? One more?
Good.
One
Yeah,
more?
sure.
Okay. Anything jump out, or you want to?
No. Okay. Hold on. I actually don't have anything to add to this, but I do think it's interesting. The Cali Kid, your thoughts on Mando being cast in Fantastic Four? I think I saw the original not the original, the one with who was it? I don't even know, but the cast. I haven't been drinking anything.
The Michael Chiklis, Jessica Alba.
Yes, that
Chris
one.
Evans one.
The
Okay.
cast, yes, them. Yes,
Yeah.
I think I saw that. That's how much of an
Okay.
impression it made on me. But I'm excited for Pedro Pascal. I think it's wonderful. I mean, I saw some people that were upset, and they're like, "Oh, now he's just going to be cast in everything." I was like, "Well, okay, but we've seen this before, and part of the reason why is because he's really, really good in everything he does. So would I rather have a mediocre actor who's a fresh face, or do I want somebody who's really freaking talented, who's going to make every choice really interesting?" That's where I go. So I'm excited.
Yeah.
I have no skin in the game in terms of the MCU side. I don't watch as much, but like I just love him. I feel I even talked about this on one of my own shows on my channel this week of like. I think I've with an actor in the house and everything, all four of these actors cast are super talented, including our guy from Andor and the Bear, right? Eben Moss background.
Oh yeah,
These are all
great.
Pedro. I since the Red Viper moment, he's one of my favorites and I love him. But there's something to be said of the lists in Hollywood where there's about 10 actors who are going to get cast and everything, and about 10 directors are going to get jobs. Those things kind of exist. So I think sometimes I get a little frustrated, not with Pedro Pascal, but it's just like. All right, these are the 11, and there's always one redhead that beats my fiance at every audition because she's on the list and Grace is not. Like, I get a little upset at that, but it's not at any of these people. I like people getting work who deserve it and are great and having their dreams come true. And Pedro has been just slaying it for so long, and I want him to ride that wave out till he can't ride it anymore.
Yeah, I agree with both of those points. A lot of times when we get sort of questions or thoughts or fun brainstorms about who should be cast in this Star Wars role, I try to come up with a couple of known actors, but my gut reaction is an amazing theater actor that no one's ever heard of, because I do think that it is harder to break into the business. I think it is a part of the fear cycle that I have personally experienced trying to sell scripts, where just the new is frightening. And that includes actors. And at this point, the whole industry is concerned with social media numbers, and that contributes to, if you're on the list, you're on the list. So I do have those caveats. Knowing that they were going to cast relatively well-known and established actors, I'm over the moon. But it's the first time in a long time. I know people are excited about Deadpool and Wolverine, but that's kind of a different beast. Fantastic Four was just this sort of, the casting was this like fresh wave of joy about the MCU. And I don't think the MCU is dead. I think it's evolving, and I think it needs to evolve. Personally, as a fan of it, the Fantastic Four have, I think, in their makeup, and I'm not even super expert or super fan on the Fantastic Four. I read them a bit as a kid, but they have a sort of freshness and a hope and an optimism that is of their era of creation, of 60s space race. Science can actually make our lives better. Family units are great, but families are weird and different, and that's okay too. There's so much about them that's kind of full of hope and optimism, and I think I'm so excited to see Pedro Pascal in the role of a brilliant scientist and a loving paternal figure. That isn't just the joke that we've all made of, like, Pedro Pascal is going to play every, loner dad fighting to keep a kid alive. This is he, probably not timeline wise a father yet, if they're not jumping around the Fantastic Four story, but the father figure of that family and getting him to play a super genius. Pedro's so great as Mando because he's got amazing range within a tiny sort of emotional, he keeps his emotional range about here, but there's a universe inside it. But watching him just on talk shows, he's so charming. He's so funny. He can do so many more things. I was going to say he could stretch, but that's literally what the superhero he's playing can do. So I didn't want to make. I almost made that joke on accident. So I'm really excited for him to get to be something different, and I think this might be like one of the roles he's remembered for forever.
No, it's great, and I don't want anyone to think that I am overly cynical on all this stuff. It's just it's a reality of who's on list and who's that. But it never forget, like even someone like Pedro Pascal. I've never met him. I don't know, but I have a friend, an old friend from the stand-up world that was really like close. He was in their circle when he got Game of Thrones. And he went from, can I sleep on your couch? I'm struggling to get by, bit parts and stereotypical roles in network television, and that takes him to something else. And like so the journey does happen. It does happen, and there's nothing cynical in my heart for the names cast, and big fan of his. So this is it'll get me to watch.
Yeah, and I'll just say that the people that we should be worried about are the TikTokers, because like now with actors trying to make a living, like the people that are encroaching upon their jobs are these like TikTokers and stuff like that. It's totally shifted. There's a great article in Deadline about it, right? Yeah, it totally changed everything.
One more Dragon Bear drink. I'll tell you, Grace had a couple days on a Disney Plus film led by influencer, and it was it was an eye-opening experience of professionalism versus not professionalism. But yeah,
drink another drink and I'll come back after I pick up the kids.
I'll tell you Monday.
Tell me Monday. Oh my gosh, wow.
TikToking or being viral is a skill, but there's no reason to hire a great artistic painter to fix your toilets. Skills are different.
Wait, are you comparing directing like fixing toilets?
I'm not making a value judgment in either direction. I'm just saying like skills are skills. You're right, and just because you're like, we praise people we think are successful, right? So we get this weird mindset of like, a vet is a good chef because they're a professional. Like, no, they know how to save a dog. They don't know how to make quiche.
Right.
Like they might, but don't assume that. And I just think it's that. It's just because it's two different skill sets within entertainment, and they think it's.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. And I'm always. I don't want to be sounding like the old man screaming at clouds. It's not about that. I'm all about new tech. We are here because of new technologies. ForceCenter exists because podcasts came about. It ain't that. But interesting. And everyone. Molly David's like, spill that tea. Maybe, Molly, if only you hosted a show where excessive drinking was part of the show, maybe I'd go on. Anyways, Jen, we gotta lose you here.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I gotta go back to reality. This was fun.
Okay, we'll text you the tea if any comes up.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you all. Thank you, everyone.
All right. Thank you. Thank you. And Jen is gone.